Fights are going to happen because fights happen in not joint practice with your own team.
Yeah.
But when it comes to what happened at this particular practice when helmets were swung, then we got a different thing. I don't think the league necessarily has to, step in, but the Rams know you can't do that. You know what I mean? So, like at the worst, I would say he would, at the worst, a game. Because that all right, you swinging a helmet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, somebody doesn't have a helmet on if you got two of them in your hand. So that's not safe. You know what I mean? So I can see if somebody didn't have a helmet on, he's hitting them with his fist or something like that. That's a fight. Okay, but you're swinging a helmet. That's considered a, deadly weapon.
Yeah, I mean, we saw people nationally when Myles Garrett swung that helmet here in Cleveland. Obviously, one was in a primetime nationally televised game. The one took place under a bridge at the Bengals, practice facility outside where they have their camp. It is now up to the Rams if they want to impose a suspension on Aaron Donald. The league lets clubs decide any punishment that happens as a result of joint practices. I just feel like that there's probably a little bit of a double standard there, right? The fact that, okay, Myles Garrett did the same thing. The only difference was that his was nationally televised, but there still is a video of this Aaron Donald fight. So one, the guy was suspended indefinitely, and the other one, it's up to the team. Let me tell you what the Rams are going to do. Nothing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, fights have been a lot worse and nothing's happened. So, I mean, it's a practice fight at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, they're going to talk to him like, we know guys get into fights. You just can't swing the helmet.
Maybe it just comes, and maybe it just comes from a place of me being a Cleveland homer.
At most, he might get a fine. He probably get a fine. You know what I mean? Couple grand, and they're gonna call it at that. I don't see if the league was to step in, they might suspend him a game.
Right.
But yeah, as a team, for a team, something like that, you get fined.
And that was the thing is people were like, oh, well, the league can't do anything because it happened, not in a game. The league steps in whenever the hell the league feels like stepping in. Mm-hmm. Terrell Pryor was fined and suspended for some tattoos that he got at Ohio State. You know what I mean? Like they could do whatever they want. So I always maybe this just comes from a place of me being a bitter, beaten down Browns fan, but I always feel like we get just the crap end of the stick all the time because we literally were without our franchise future Hall of Famer, dare I say, defensive end for 8 games the rest of a season as we were trying to make a playoff push in Cleveland, whereas Aaron Donald does the same exact thing in a practice, and it's nothing.
It's a difference.
Why? What difference?
Because in practice, things get heated like that. And practice where you can make those mistakes. In a game, you got to be professional. You got to have that composure because if you lose your composure in a game, all hell can break loose.